Next, I'd like to introduce Jeremy Affeldt. Jeremy, we are very thankful that you're a Giant. We've watched you on the other side of the field for a number of years, both as a starting pitcher and as a relief pitcher. And today, we thank you for being a part of Fellowship Day. Jeremy has been an encouragement from the day he signed his contract. He loves the Lord, and he has a wonderful family. And Jeremy, we appreciate you being here today.
Thanks.
So, Jeremy's a little bit shy, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get him to share a whole lot today, but I'm going to try to draw it out of you if I can, Jeremy. Just if you could share a little bit of maybe what's on your heart, maybe what God's teaching you and working in your life with right now.
All right, I'll try to keep it relatively long here. I like to stand up when I speak. Thank you. You know, when I first came here, when I first signed, I'll have to admit something. I thought I'd never sign in San Francisco, and God had other plans for me, obviously. But when I first signed here, you know, everybody said, you know, oh man, that's going to be an interesting city. It's a dark city. It's a godless city. They need Jesus. They said all these things, and so I started praying about what he wanted me to do here, because sometimes when you sign a contract, I don't always think that it's just to come play baseball. So when I sign a contract, I ask for God's guidance. I say, what do you want me here for? Is there players in the clubhouse? Is there stuff in the city going on? All that stuff. And so a lot of you guys understand that it's, you know, I've been joined up with a group called Not For Sale, and it's an they fight against human trafficking and sex slavery, and they do a lot of things which I think are an outreach of God's love for people. So that was kind of interesting when I signed, and the first thing I ran into was that group. But then he put something in my lap. You know, I was asking about what about the people of the city? You know, like, what's going on, and where can we break through and bring a true light to the city that all men need, and that the city supposedly, you know, it's obviously judged already. I had people calling me from other states and saying, oh man, San Francisco's going to be a tough place to play, you know, with the people there. And I said, God, why is this happening? You know, what are you telling me? And then he put this book into my hands, and it's called The Prodigal God. If you guys have not read it, it's a phenomenal book, and I want to talk a little bit about what I've been reading. But it's about the prodigal son. And the guy puts an interesting twist on it. It's written by Timothy Keller, and he puts a twist that I've never heard before, and it really hit me between the eyes. First of all, if you ever read the parable of the prodigal son, basically it's about a man that has two sons. The youngest son asks for his inheritance early, goes out and spends it. You know, goes and sleeps with prostitutes, spends it on drinking, partying, and then he wastes all his money. Well, then he comes back, and because he doesn't have any money, and he asks his dad if he can just come back to be a servant. I mean, even a slave in his family, not even a son. Don't even classify me under your son anymore. He begs his father. His father throws a huge party for him. Says, you're going to be my son. You come back in. Well, the older brother got upset because he's done everything his dad has told him to do, and he never had a party thrown for him. And his dad tries to tell him, well, you know what? Your brother, my son, has come back into the family. We got to rejoice over this. And his son is getting really, really angry. But here's how it starts. If you read Luke 15, it actually starts because the Pharisees are mocking and angry with God for fraternizing with sinners. And they're getting mad at Jesus. He says, what are you doing hanging with the sinners? Why are you hanging with those people? Those people are dirty and disgusting. And they're a terrible, terrible group of people that care nothing about God. And then Jesus gives the prodigal son story. So everybody thinks that the story is about the prodigal son. And the way this book comes out is actually the story is about the elder brother in the story. And I was thinking about that. I was like, why does it do with the elder brother? Well, the only reason that he's told the story about the prodigal son was because the Pharisees were judging Jesus for hanging out with sinners. But the prodigal son is a sinner. So wouldn't you think that the story would actually be told to the sinners, and Jesus wanting to bring the sinners back into the family, but it's actually started because of the Pharisees. Now here's an interesting thing. The elder brother represents the church. And the Pharisees represented the church at that time. And so Jesus basically told a story saying, you know what, you're angry because I'm bringing our son, our youngest son, the lost ones, back into this place. And the son was mad because he said, I've done everything for you. I've followed all the rules. I haven't sinned, or I've confessed my sin every Sunday or every Wednesday. I've gone to church on Sunday twice. I've been to church on Wednesday. I go to small group. I go to Bible study. I don't cuss. I don't drink. I do all these things. God, you got to bless me now. It's all of that. You got to do what I want you to do, right? And they get mad at it. So Jesus is saying, you know, we're bringing a son who's lost, who drinks and does all these things and hangs out with prostitutes, and I'm bringing him back, and yet the church is like, oh, they're dirty, disgusting people. What are you doing talking and hanging with them? And so many times I look at the church now, and I look at the cities I'm in, and I see so many people that go inside these four walls and think that actually because they enter into these doors and they give their 10% and they sing their worship songs that they're better than those people on the street, and they're not. So I sit there. I sit here, right, and I look around, and I'm like, why? What is the story? The elder brother is upset, man. The elder brother is tanking it. He's not living for me. Because here's what the elder brother is doing. The same as the younger brother. See, the younger brother went out and said, give me my inheritance. I want to be my own God. So he goes out and does what he wants to do. Right? He squanders it. He does whatever he wants to do. But see, the older brother says, I've done everything that you've asked me to do. But see, in reality, he's trying to be his own God. Just like many of us do. God, I've followed all the rules. Now you bless me how I want you to bless me. Right? So in essence, we don't seek the face of God. We seek the hands of God. And what I've been told is if you seek the face of God, you get the hands of God. But if you just seek the hands of God, you might not get them. And we work on that. We live on that. And we think we're doing everything right. And it is really, really good to serve God with all your heart. It's really good to follow all the rules. But it's also a sin. Because it's bad motives. You follow the rules because you want something from God. How about follow all the rules because you just love God? So the reality of it is, we're no better. If we're doing things because we want to control God and His motives for us, we're no better than the people out there that don't believe in God and say, I want to be my own God. Because in essence, we're the same. So now I remember Jesus on the cross, and He's sitting there, and He hangs on the cross, and He's dying. And He's dying 2,000 years ago, and I can see it as I close my eyes, and the blood is dripping down His hands, and He's saying, I'm dying for people that aren't even going to believe I exist. I'm dying for people that don't even believe that I'm going to do what I'm doing. I'm dying for people that don't even want to, that are going to twist it and control it. I'm dying for people that are going to sit. I'm dying for people that are having sex with little 4-year-old girls. I'm dying for the perverts. I'm dying for the drunkards. I'm dying for the sinners. I'm dying for just a liar. I'm dying for a little boy that takes a cookie in a cookie jar when he's not supposed to, because that's a sin. I'm dying for all of it. And we need to figure that out. We need to start reaching out to the people of the city and loving on Him. We gotta love on people. We don't need to condemn them because they don't believe in the Jesus we believe in. Maybe we need to start loving them with the love Jesus had when He died on the cross. We need to love that. He is the true elder brother, because here's the biggest. I'm gonna sum it up real quick. All right, I'm gonna sum it up. Brother didn't want to give it up, because here, if you understand Jewish culture, what happens is when the younger brother gets 1/3 of the inheritance and the older brother gets 2/3. So when the younger brother gets brought back in after his dad sold 1/3 of all his land, and the father brings his younger brother back in, what's up, buddy? That's my son. So when the younger brother comes back in, now the father is giving 1/3 of the 2/3 back to his younger brother, and so now the older brother only gets 2/3 of what's left of that. So he gets angry because he doesn't want to pay a price to get his brother back in. Well, Jesus became the elder brother. He said, I am the real elder brother, and I'm going to show you what the price is. So He lays His life on the cross. He comes down from heaven when He doesn't need to. And He pays a huge price of putting Himself on the cross and dying, so that all of the younger brothers and sisters can come into the family and join in the inheritance of the kingdom of heaven. And that is what He's all about. And that's what we need to express to everybody out there, the love of Jesus Christ.